So we're recording and she's setting it up to go live now. Oh.
Good afternoon. My name is Raymond Skinner, and I'm chairman of the DCHA Stabilization and Reform Board. I call this meeting to order. This is a special meeting of the District of Columbia Housing Authority being held today, August 16th, 2023. This meeting is being held via WebEx, and the time is 12:02. Today's agenda is a special agenda. We have invited members of the public to sign up to speak via our website, or those who would just like to view the open portion of the meeting may do so live via the DCHA website linked to our Facebook Live page. The Board of Commissioners welcomes constituent input on matters of public concern and offers you today an opportunity to express your views. However, we require that members of the public who attend our meetings abide by certain rules of decorum to allow the board to complete the business before it. For this virtual meeting, DCHA asks that you remain muted until you are instructed to speak and that you do not use the chat to comment when it's not your turn to speak. Members of the public cannot engage in any disruptive, loud, threatening, or abusive language during board meetings. This includes any loud outbursts or shouting during times when you have not been invited to speak. Anyone who violates these rules will be removed from the virtual meeting. Serious or repeated violations of the rules may result in your being barred from speaking at future meetings. We appreciate your interest in the matters before us today and thank you in advance for abiding by these rules of conduct. At this time, I will ask for a roll call to determine if we have a quorum.
Thank you. Commissioner Lee? Commissioner Murphy?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Jones?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Blackson?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Dickerson?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Reed? Commissioner Silla? Commissioner Clay?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Harris?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Burbridge?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Skinner. I'm sorry, Chairman Skinner.
Present.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, you have 8 commissioners present. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, as I indicated, this is a special meeting and we're going to be going into executive session to discuss some personnel matters. But before I do that, I want to change the order and call for members of the public who have signed up to provide testimony.
Okay, the first on our list is Mr. William Jordan. Mr. Jordan, you have 3 minutes for your testimony. Are you there, Mr. Jordan?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is William Jordan. I'm a member of the Park Morton Equity Team, and I am testifying because I'm a little concerned with some of the board's processes and how that affects our and my ability, as well as the resident council's ability to meet the commitments made to Park Morton residents in 2006 and then again in 2014. And I'm going to use an example from the last meeting. So the last meeting, of course, I didn't testify. I tried, but it just popped up one day. I didn't get any notice because I'm not important. So it's a race to check the website every day to see if you all are going to pop up a special meeting and try to respond to it. And that's very frustrating, particularly because last time you all dealt with ACOP and the HOTMA, and then using this emergency rollover kind of process to make policy, which I know does not make sense. It can't possibly be good practice. But what really stood out is the question that Commissioner Harris raised about the homeownership program impact of the decisions that you all were making. And homeownership was one of those offers and commitments that were made to Park Morton residents throughout this process, that if they did what they were supposed to do, there was going to be an opportunity for them to enter homeownership programs, as well as participate in Section 3 and all the things I always talk about. But what was raised is that you all were making a decision, particularly around the vouchers, that may impact the ability of those residents to leverage vouchers for homeownership. And then, of course, homeownership, to send these residents out in this DC market to say this is how you're going to meet your homeownership opportunities is ridiculous, right? I could make $200,000 a year and can't find housing in this market. So if we don't build it, they don't have the opportunity. It's a false thing. So to me, to make policies in a way, I don't have a time to understand. The residents I work with don't have an opportunity to understand, but you all keep rolling along and making policies, but then don't give us enough warning to be able to participate in the process. So I have a problem with that. Second, you have committee meetings, which have no minutes, no nothing feedback on a committee meeting, but obviously decisions are being made in those committee meetings. So we have no view into those policies. At least before, we used to have brown bag and we get transcripts from those to really be able to follow what's going on. So I don't know how you would expect me and the residents I work with to work cooperatively with the agency and the board if you all going to operate in the shadows, even if that's not your intent. It's the result.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. So we hear you, and we will be making changes as we go forward. We are not trying to operate in the shadows. We're trying to be as transparent as possible, and we will, going forward, do better in terms of notifications and letting you know how you can work with the agency and get significant input as we move forward and change our policies.
Well, can I make one quick comment?
One quick comment, quick.
Okay, it takes like 30 days for us to interpret what the heck is going on. So a 2-day notice is not notice. It is, we need to be ahead of the game if we're going to even understand the acronyms, let alone what the acronyms mean. So just please keep that in mind, that these emergencies and special meetings is the opposite, whether they're necessary or not. It puts us in a hole we can't possibly get out of.
Okay, we hear you, and we will do better. Thank you. Next.
Thank you. Next is Sarah Levin. Ms. Levin, you have 3 minutes. You can proceed.
Thank you. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Wonderful. My name is Sarah Levin, and I'm a landlord enrolled in the Rapid Rehousing Program. I'm here today to urgently ask for your help to move an emergency relocation request submitted by Open Arms Housing forward. Since my tenant moved in, it has been difficult for her to adjust to the environment, and we've worked through a lot of challenges. While she has not been a perfect tenant, she has been subjected to systemic harassment in the building by the residents that she does not deserve. Last year, my tenant was falsely accused of leaving a mattress by the dumpster. Someone in the building then placed the mattress on her car when my tenant was 8 months pregnant. The person who did it never came forward. When my tenant barbecued in the front yard in April of this year, a board member sent an email copying the entire HOA board. She did not attempt to address her concerns with either me or my tenant first. And in addition to complaints about trash and noise, she accused my tenant of child endangerment, claiming there were children playing near an open flame and of putting the building at risk of a fire. She made multiple references to footage, as we have cameras in the front yard, but never provided the footage to me despite my multiple requests for evidence. The HOA board, which I joined this year, has just finalized new rules this week that will impose $50 fines for every violation. Despite my attempt to persuade them otherwise, the board has voted to ban playing and lounging in the front yard without explicit permission from the board. I asked them to carve out an exception for playing, pointing out that this is an anti-family policy. Why should we allow dogs to pee and poop in the yard, but now not allow children to play? I was outvoted. This past weekend, someone left an anonymous note on my tenant's stroller that said, please clean up after your children. We all have to live here. There's more I can share that I don't have time for today. There is nothing I can do to make this building safe for my tenant. I cannot control the actions of the residents or the board. Through all of this, no one at Open Arms Housing has stepped up to support me. When I sought help from DHS and they contacted Open Arms Housing, I received a panicked call from my tenant because her case manager threatened to quit in retaliation. My tenant's lease expired in 2020. I asked her to move out last year. She agreed and proceeded to spend $500 on apartment applications, only to be told to stop by her case manager because her paperwork supposedly hadn't gone through. We are both on the same page about her moving out, but we are stuck in a bureaucratic limbo despite our repeated requests for help. I discovered through many hours of calls, emails, and follow-up that DHS never received said paperwork from Open Arms, but Open Arms claims they submitted it in July of last year. The paperwork has now been confirmed received, and Open Arms Housing submitted an emergency relocation request on July 31st. I'm now being told by DHS that this issue is in DCHA's court, but Open Arms says they don't even have a point of contact for DCHA. Shout out to Miss Karen Carmichael, who is the only person who has been at all responsive to me and has made me feel heard and has now escalated this to a supervisor at DHS. But I do not have any confidence based on my experience so far that this won't continue to be delayed. I ask that you please help me and my tenant to relocate her immediately. She is not safe and there's nothing more I can do to advocate for her. I can't force these people to act like compassionate human beings. I also ask that you work with landlords like me to address the systemic problems that I have encountered that have rendered this program an absolute failure in its goal to be an attractive partnership for landlords and to provide safe housing for tenants with the support they need to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Levin. I'm not sure what DCHA can do in this situation. It's between DHS and Open Arms Housing, I believe. I don't know if anyone.
That would be a DHS problem, but if we could just get your tenant's information, maybe we can reach out to DHS and say that you reached out to us and see if we can be a bridge to help this process along. But that's not a DCHA program that we manage.
Okay, because that's what they're telling me is that it's in DCHA's court. So any help to clear this up, I've been kind of bounced from agency to agency and it's been over a year and I would really appreciate any help you can offer. Thank you.
Ms. Levin?
Thank you. We'll see what we can do.
You checked with your council member?
I have not received any responses to my, I've tried reaching out twice to the council member's office.
your
I haven't
council
tried
member?
calling, but
Who is your council member?
I think on the top of my head, I apologize. I live in Los Angeles now, but I'm in 16th Street Heights. The unit is, I'm sorry, I'm blanking right now on the council member, but I did reach out to their office twice via their web form.
4 or 1?
Is that Ward 4 or it's not 1?
Not 1.
No, it's
Is it
4.
four
I
or
believe it's
six?
4.
4, 5, something, anyway.
Up high.
I think, yeah, that's the other avenue to try,
Yeah.
is to follow and also to contact Brianne Nadeau, Councilmember Nadeau's office, who is head of DHS's committee, and stay with it.
Thank you. And what's the best way to who should I give my tenant's information to? What's the best way?
Well, I think the person who will be assigned to you, write the letter and call the office. They won't be back in the office till September 1 or after because of vacation, but you have to keep knocking on the door. It's unfortunate. You're not the only landlord that's having this problem.
So we have your contact information and we'll have someone from our office, from DCHA, to contact you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
For the record, that Lee has joined us.
Yeah.
That Lee has joined us to
Terrible.
for the record. Yeah. Commissioner Lee has joined us, and she joined after the roll call.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Lee has joined us. Welcome. Okay. That's the end of public testimony. And at this time, I'm going to recommend that the board move to close this meeting pursuant to DC Code 2-575B4A and B10 to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, performance evaluation, compensation of government employees or officials, and to consult with our attorney to obtain legal advice and preserve the attorney-client privilege between attorney and this public body. Is there any discussion by the board on closing this meeting? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close the meeting. Motion. Second?
Second.
Okay, we'll take a roll call vote to close the meeting.
Thank you. Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Blackson?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Dickerson?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Thank you. And Chairman Skinner?
Yes.
Thank you. The voting board members have voted to close this portion of the board meeting.
Okay, so this meeting is now closed. So I'm going to ask everyone.
Do you need to get another,
Oh, yeah.
hookup? I see our quarter backup is recording. Is there gonna be another one joining? I just want to make sure we have everything up for the court reporter.
You're on mute.
We're gonna be on mute,
Watch this.
so get
That's
the,
what you're looking at. Yeah.
your backup is there. But as soon as, that Emma rejoins, then we'll unmute again so we can, adjourn. Thanks. Okay, I think we're ready to resume, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, good afternoon again. We have closed the executive session and we are now back in the open special board meeting. Is there any other business to come before the board this afternoon? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second,
Second.
Before adjourning, I want to announce that the next Board of Commissioners meeting will be held on Wednesday, September 13th, 2023 at 1 p.m. via WebEx. Information regarding viewing or participating in the meeting live can be found at www.dchousing.org. And with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, I missed that.